Hey, welcome back. We're in Gongaga.
And Cloud has just woken up from a serious bender.
It looks like they're standing in a silo.
Yeah.
They pretty much are. I mean, we aren't gonna care about you.
They're looking for Aerith, except for us two.
Yeah, well, I'm lazy and Tifa wouldn't leave your side.
Yeah, this is a scene I always think about when people complain about Cloud's character in Advent Children. I mean, that stroke of, what should we say, despair and inability to act.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not unheard of in the original game, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I think that people complain in Advent Children because they, you assume that by the end of the game, the Cloud has gotten over this, and then people claim that, the character progression seems to imply that he's gotten over this, but then he regresses back. I think is what people were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah. And they didn't like the way that it happened.
I don't know. The man has an incurable fatal wasting disease that seems, really, that's sort of an excuse.
Well, that would be one thing, but I think that people are talking about him being all stuck on Aerith and Zack dying when you think that by the end of the game, he wouldn't really, after the way the game ends, you wouldn't think that he'd be obsessing over Aerith 2 years later about the fact that he let her die.
Yeah.
I don't know. The game resolves it.
The man has PTSD. That's not something you get over. That's something you deal with.
Definitely.
So, and the man has absolutely every reason to have PTSD.
And
well, I'm not saying that he doesn't.
Half later, at the end of the game, after she dies, so they don't even have time to even let it sink in.
Yeah. Now, this scene, people say, Cloud, absolutely wanted to go after, Aerith. And he doesn't. It actually takes convincing from Tifa to get him to go. So.
Because he's afraid that if he goes, he'll end up beating the crap out of her again like he did at the temple.
Or anyone
Which
else.
he almost does.
Yeah, no, he's worried that he'll turn on his friends again because of Sephiroth's control.
Mm-hmm. It's very dramatic now, though. I like the color scheme here.
Mm-hmm.
It's very sort of
dusky or something.
Yeah.
Hazy.
I don't remember.
The design of the houses here sort of reminds me of the Kremlin, but or Persian, towers, but sort of half-assed.
Well, in Final Fantasy IX, I think, what do you call that little village, Dali or something? Or
yeah.
On top of the mountains, they have these kind of houses as well.
It's like the spires on top of the Russian Orthodox churches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too.
But round houses are so impractical.
Yeah. They look like they're pretty old, though, so maybe they didn't know any better.
Maybe they all had round furniture back then.
No, they just hate sweeping in the corners.
There you go. It's so much easier to clean a round house. I don't know, I'm just saying
I always wondered, where do the tiny Bronco and the buggy go once you get the high wind?
Yeah, they kind of disappear.
The thing is, they elope. And
And have babies.
yes.
Yay!
Rio, your mind is awesome.
And that's where you get Cloud's motorcycle.
Oh, I love it. I like that story. Let's write fan fiction.
That is in fact the origin story of Fenrir. It just so it's a purebred of a new breed of, you know, living vehicles. And that's
There you
why it
go.
doesn't have to worry about gravity, because it can fly a little bit.
That's how he
You
gets
see, it was
to
actually the runt of the litter, but Cloud just thought it was so cute. So it's actually his pet.
I had to pet it and give it a home. Okay, here's the thing that bugs me about Advent Children. That obviously, clearly, all of this is on a completely separate continent that should be like thousands of miles away, and he gets there and back in one night on his motorcycle.
Yeah, he just drives there.
I presume.
I didn't think about
that-
it at first.
I presume myself that there's either some sort of ferry service, or like he basically just said, "Shinra, I'm taking a jet,"
Yeah.
and then just drove straight through the forest. Because Midgar is actually not all that far from the Forgotten City and the Sleeping Forest, if you look at the map. They're actually really close to each other.
But
But
then
even
another question
still,
appears in my
though-
mind. Exactly why? Why do the remnants have to bring the children to the Forgotten City, of all places? And shouldn't the remnants shun Cetran locations by some instinct?
No, I mean, honestly, they'd probably head there just to go, ah ha ha ha, fuck you.
Or do
You're
they
dead,
still
we're
kind of
alive.
They
we got
went
your
there
stuff.
because it would be a really cool place to animate with the glowing trees with fight.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, think about the important stuff here. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Well, do they still believe then that they are remnants of the Cetra too?
No,
Not
they
just Sephiroth? By then they don't.
Just
the remnants, all they believe is that they are the chosen children of their mother.
Yeah.
What they know, we have no idea. They might actually believe that, you know, Mother was an ancient. Hell, maybe Sephiroth still does, because he forgot a lot of crap in the intervening 2 years.
Yeah. That's the only reason I would think. He did instill them. I mean, they are like products of his mind, so.
Yeah.
Something a bit more gameplay related. This is always the point when I go get the buntline and the mop in Bone Village. I mean, they are the no materia slots weapons for Sid and Vincent.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of very good stuff you can pick up even at this point in the game, just by searching in the right places.
Although it is in a later stage of the game, as we all know, you can get the key to Sector 5 here in Bone Village. But there's an interesting detail about that, because, I mean...
Do you get the W material?
People have created to cheat... which
Obviously,
material?
it's just
you get that in
the W, yes.
the Battle Square. Did you get it in Battle Square?
I think you can get it in a couple places. There's like, well, there's a W summon and a W item. Which
Yes.
The W summon is in
W
the Battle
item,
Square.
I think. is
Yeah.
on here.
Yep.
Sorry,
no,
what were you
and,
saying about Midgar? There?
the key to Sector 5.
Yes, like I said, people have cheated. No, it's not a fear; it's just an observation. But people have cheated that key item into their inventory just so perhaps to early on go back into Midgar. But the thing is that cheat code has never worked for people, and it's been boggling people's mind. Like, why isn't this working? And the strange thing is that the item in your inventory, it's actually not what makes you able to open the door. It's a completely separate flag that is activated after you receive the item.
That makes perfect
Oh.
sense to me.
Oh yes, perfect.
Yeah. Very rarely does a key item actually contain the code that, lets you use it. It's actually just something there for the fan to, or the player to see, to have a visual confirmation of the flag actually being activated.
And there are some places where the key item itself has a code, so that you get that key item and that is the flag itself. But sometimes that's not the case. Yes, the watering. Because Genova Live's attacks are all water-based. If you equip the watering, you have won the battle.
I know.
Hell,
This
won
is
the battle
all
even
meant-
without it. Winning the battle is basically I'm gonna go make a sandwich. Should I pause? No. In fact, I'm gonna go out to eat. I'm gonna leave the battle running. Cloud, you've got counter on. I'll just leave it to you.
Yeah, and then watering.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah, the watering.
I
It's
always had
normally
to
the
wonder though about this city. Why did the Cetro decide to give their city an ocean theme?
In the middle of a forest.
I think they were probably
Yes.
thinking of Atlantis or something like that.
Oh.
Maybe.
Because
Well, you see, way back in
mermaid,
the day,
etc.
the water
Ooh,
level
they're
used to be so
mermaids.
much higher. And the turns out that in addition to being, horrible horned freaks, the Cetra were actually mermaids.
Ooh.
Oh, it all makes sense.
Yes.
Except not completely. Well, they can't have been entirely based underwater. I mean, because the water projection screen can only work if it's above sea
Otherwise,
level.
it just projects everywhere.
Everywhere. Wow.
Surround.
Oh
Video.
my. It's an IMAX theater.
Really, though, I think it is that they found a sort of drained coral deposit and said, "Man, this would make an awesome city," because they are insane hippies.
Could be.
Yeah.
Of course, then you just have to think, why would the Cetro even build a city when they're supposed to be no problematic? I thought.
I
Like,
think
they're-
that this. I don't think this is necessarily so much a city as it is a meeting place.
yeah,
I mean, city is probably not the most opportune word, because this really doesn't have, the feeling of being a permanent settlement.
Mm-hmm.
It
There's
has
beds and stuff.
Yeah, no. It's sort of it has the feeling of, I don't want to say a summer home, but it has the
I
feeling
see.
of everybody, moves in, takes a bed, and then leaves. It doesn't have a whole lot of personal touch.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Plus, it all seems to be actually centered around the shell tower, which leads down to a holy site. So I think it might be a site of pilgrimage.
Okay, that seems like it makes sense.
I like that the whole area in the northern continent is kind of desolate of any kind of
So it is sterile.
foliage or anything, because when 2,000 years ago, when the meteor, Genova's meteor, hit, all the live stream was concentrated into that area, so all life, trees and everything, sort of faded away.
Crystallized.
So that
The planet could heal itself.
yeah.
The interesting thing is, where it is, part is how that the thread actually is actual life, and I think that's actually the path that the the Lifestream took, and so on that line, the life actually flourished, but everywhere else it just sort of drained away.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And amidst all this, I have to ask, how long have those beds been there? Oh, it's not into it.
Ew.
Or
I
ever.
know.